We are at a damp but drying Hungaroring for race 1 of 2 this weekend in the KTM Crossbow Battle. It is a field split across 3 classes: the rookies, GT4 drivers, and those in the elite class. And Bob the Builder, Bob Bow, is the man who has lined up on pole position. Championship deciding weekend, a race today, a race tomorrow. There's a lot at stake for the drivers, and the grid is taking shape, although there is a gap on the second row, I noticed, where Holger Baumgartner's car is not yet to be found. We'll worry about that in a moment, however. David Addison and Manfred Wolf, trackside, as we look forward to what promises to be a very spectacular race. Manfred, the track greasy, they're going to be fighting for traction here.
Absolutely, it was quite a worrying thing at the moment in our paddock, because nobody wanted to make a decision with which tires they should go out on the track. So I think nearly all of them are on rain tires.
Okay.
So are our Rookies Challenge drivers. So we hesitated a long time, but in the end we said it's safer with rain tires, because especially aside the ideal racing line there, it's still really wet. So safety first.
Indeed so. And it's a short race, 25 minutes, so if you do start on rain tyres, on wet tyres, they're not going to deteriorate in the way that they did perhaps in a longer race. Now there, Thomas Vestarp, who is already this year's GT4 class champion. He's had 3 wins, a really good season for Thomas Vestarp.
Absolutely, he did very well in the team of CCS Racing. It was his first year in the KTM Crossbow GT4. He switched from an elite class car to a GT4 car, and he was really the dominant man this season, and yeah, deserved the title.
And Thomas Vestarp, who will line up for this race on the second row of the grid. If you go back to 2001, he was racing in the German single-seater championship known as Formula Koenig, and then graduated to Formula Renault. So he's an experienced driver, 38 years of age, and 3 victories have gone his way this year. Now, I mentioned that we've got different classes. Explain, if you will, and this is not an easy question maybe, not only the difference in the drivers, but the difference in the cars. Some have the open bodywork, some have the closed roof.
I try to make it as simple as possible. Well, the KTM Crossbow started 2008 as the open top car, so without windscreen, without everything. That is the basis, and that is the car that we still produce. And that's the car that we are using in the Rookies Challenge, with just some racing twitches like special roll cage and headrest system, adjustable brake balance and this stuff. But in general, also regarding the 2-liter TFSI engine from Audi, it's a standard car, 300 horsepower, 800 kilograms dry weight. And in the elite class, we basically tune up the engine to 360 horsepower. And the GT4 car is same monocoque underneath, same 2-liter TFSI engine with 360 horsepower, but with a completely different bodywork.
So that explains what you are about to see. We're walking up the grid. We've gone past Bob Bow and Reini Koffler on the front row. On row 2, there is just Thomas Vestarp, and here on the third row, Josef Koller and Georg Silbermeier lining up alongside. Silbermeier second to Bow in the Elite Championship. Then we should get to Onder Erdem, who we've seen racing in GT4 this year, and Tassilo von Bayern, who's another of the GT4 class. GT4, you see the closed bodywork on the front. Behind them, in the rookie category, Marcel Markovics, who's had 3 rookie wins, and he leads Jan Ries in that championship. Jan Ries is the man alongside him. 32 points are between them in the championship. On the 6th row, Mika Kallio, who's a name familiar if you follow motorbike racing, especially on KTMs. We'll talk more about him, no doubt, as the race gets underway. And then Csaba Walter, next on the grid, who was a race winner years ago in the FIA GT3 European Championship. On the 7th row of the grid, you've got Sven Förster, and alongside him, Leon Wasserteurer. They're both in the rookie category, ahead of Matthias Peltzmann. Now, he's had a win this year in the rookie class, and alongside him is Niklas Stump in another of the rookie category entries. Bartolomei Simenchuk comes next on the 9th row alongside Drexel Jr., Daniel Drexel. And then on the 10th row of the grid, you'll find him in a moment, the green car is another of the elite, a long, long way back, Uwe Schmidt, the 53-year-old who started racing in single-seaters in Germany in the early 90s, a long way back after qualifying. Alongside him is Janos Wieder. The penultimate row, Thomas Kokol, and Clemens Drexel is alongside, with the Q80, Nasser Al-Ali, at the rear of the grid. He races KTMs back home, but the Q80 driver must be looking at the sky, wondering what this thing called rain is all about.
Exactly. I think he was not so happy about the rain today. He's not used to it. And one word to Uwe Schmidt, who is normally quite a fast driver. I think it's a problem that he sold his car right before this last racing weekend. So I think he will be looking after that the car stays in one piece to hand it over to the new owner.
Sure.
And that's maybe a reason why he's a little bit far back.
A bit cautious, yes, protecting his investment or something. So, okay, Uwe Schmidt, an experienced driver. Now, the man on pole position, Bob Bow, we won't give you his real name, but it's a pseudonym. He is in the construction industry, so Bob Bow, Bob the Builder. He came from the Dutch Supercar Challenge and has also raced in the Dutch Fiesta Cup. Double winner this year. Now, Bob Bow leads the elite class ahead of Georg Silbermeyer. Silbermeyer's had more wins, but he's further back on the grid. He's on the third row. But it's interesting that an elite class car outpaced a GT4, and I think Reinhard Koffler will aim to assert his authority in the race.
Well, I think the track layout is a little bit more handy for the elite class car. They are 200 kilograms lighter than the GT4 car. And you got only one big braking point where you can use the racing ABS that's in the GT4 car, so that's at the end of the start-finish straight. But in those fast and flowing curves and also in the slower corners, the elite class car with 200 kilograms less is in the advantage. Okay, so Reinhard Koffler, who's got a great pedigree, and he will only do one race, incidentally, because Laura Krahammer will drive tomorrow. The car is a shared entry. Now, the race has been from a safety car start, so the race is on, and we are not on a rolling start. It is going to be a safety car start, so all of this eats into 25 minutes. They've, of course, it's a damp track rather than a wet track, but they've had no wet running all weekend. You've had a lot of track time. Was it 3 free practice plus training plus qualifying? So all in the dry, even on a damp road. This is something very new. Exactly, and therefore the race controllers decided to make it a safety car start, so that all the drivers have like 2 laps to accommodate with the partly wet track, and then they will form one row, and then the safety car will leave the track and we'll go racing. So Reinhard Koffler, eager for honours in this race, comes then through turn 14 onto the pit straight, and as he accelerates now up towards the timing line, you'll see 1 or 2 drivers going for the wetter parts of the road. It's fascinating to see because, trust me, the sun is breaking through, the track is drying all the time, and as Manfred was saying, they're all on rain tyres, on wet tyres, so they need to be looking after that rubber with, okay, they're not going at a very quick pace yet, but they've still got to make it last for over 20 minutes. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the good thing is that our car is really light, and the tyres that we use were originally made for Porsche racing, so with much heavier cars, and the car is very easy on the tyres, so it should be not a huge problem to make it last these 20 minutes. But in the end, you know, when it dries up completely, then to the end of the race, maybe the tires get a little bit soft, and the cars get sideways. More spectacular. Yeah. So here behind the safety car, they make their way up towards turn 4. Interesting mix of drivers, isn't it, as well? Some come from track days, some have come from other categories, and the GT4 European Championship, some coming straight into the sport. They've come from all disciplines, all backgrounds. Yeah, that's what we want to do with the Crossbow Battle. We want to offer something for everybody, not only for experienced drivers, but also for like interested persons who want to start in motorsport. We want to give them a possibility to start racing, and that's exactly what the Rookies Challenge is made for. It's complete season, 45,000 euros. With 10 races, so it's 2 races each weekend, and I think that's quite a good price for getting into the racing world. We're going to go racing at the end of this lap, so I can just pose a couple more questions. They're different looking cars, they're unusual looking cars. Does that make it an easier sell to a driver or a harder sell? People perhaps always think of KTM as a motorbike more than a car. Exactly. I mean, we always say we've made the job as soon as one interested party steps in the car and does the first lap. Okay. We never had anyone that stepped out of the car and said he didn't like it. So it's really you have to try it. It's the closest you can get into Formula racing, but without the complications of Formula racing. You know, the top of Formula Renault cars or Formula 4 cars is so small. It's just made for really young and sporty drivers. And in our car, you can you have space.
Sure. Anybody can drive it.
Exactly.
Including people from two wheels. Mika Kallio, that's been a loyal KTM bike racer, having his first ever car race.
Yes, and he's doing great. Third in the grid in the Rookies Challenge class. So I think we are looking forward to a really, really interesting fight between the Rookies drivers.
Green lights on, green
Racing.
flag waves. We go racing over the timing line. Bob Bow leads the way, but the closed GT4 car of Reini Koffler right up behind him as they dive down towards turn one. We go racing with effectively 19.5 minutes on the clock into turn one, with third, the GT4 champion then, Thomas Verstappen, and there is no sign in the race of Holger Baumgartner, who would have been third on the grid. So there, look, the rookies dive down towards turn one on the inside line, trying to squeeze through to gain ground in 81. Shaba Walter, the event promoter here this weekend, so he is not only running an event, but he's also eager to put his lots of experience into play. More of the GT4 contingent goes side by side. Tassilo von Bayern alongside on the Erdam as they drop down the hill. Erdam in 65 loses out. Good move by von Bayern around the outside.
Yeah, and Bob Bau is sticking to his first place. Reini is trying everything. Oh, now he's diving in. Okay.
That was brave, wasn't it?
That was really brave. But the thing is, on the open top cars, we got no ABS. So in these conditions, with a GT4 car, under braking, you have quite a big advantage.
So now Reinhard Koffler tries to get away. Next question, can Thomas Verstappen in another of the GT4 cars go after him? Bob Bow hanging onto his class lead, and they're the rather more standard looking in comparison. Rookie contingent pours through the chicane, but onto Erdam, he's dropped a long way back on the first racing lap. That GT4 car in the mix as well. Erdam would have been on the fourth row of the grid, so he's lost a lot of time somewhere.
Absolutely, and he got overtaken by a lot of the Rookies drivers, and you can see that the driving standards in Rookies Challenge are really high, really fast guys there. Some come from karting, some did already other racing series, so but it's not so much an unexperienced driving thing. It's they are really fast in racing.
Whoops, big slide. That was a good save.
Yeah.
Now who was that?
That was Mr. Förster, and he's doing his first race this weekend. Sven Förster. He used to do track days, and he's doing his very first racing weekend, but great car control that we saw here.
Absolutely, yes. Found himself in strife, but caught it well. I was fearing the worst. Over the line, Reinhard Koffler leading Bob Bow. The gap is already 4.9 seconds. Wow. Reinhard Koffler aiming to make the most of this one drive that he gets. Thomas Verstappen running third. Now they're fourth. The red car, number 50, is Josef Koller, who has taken 2 race wins, or 2 class wins already this season. Koller being one of those in the elite category. Before KTM, very successful in radical racing.
Yeah, Josef Koller is a very fast guy from Czech Republic, as you mentioned, already won this year his class. And it's funny because it's Georg Silbermeier behind him, and they used to battle throughout nearly all the races this season. So they are together again. And yeah, what's very good is I see Tassilo von Bayern coming from behind Georg Silbermeier. And that's very good because Tassilo started this year in the Rookies Challenge, and he didn't feel very well in that car, and now he asked if he can change to GT4 car, and he's doing much better with this one, so seems he enjoys it.
Excellent. And von Bayern is a name known if you go back to the 80s in touring car racing. Prince Leopold von Bayern, part of the BMW Works squad. It's a relation, as there you see the replay of Sven Förster getting it all sideways but saving it well coming out of turn 12.
Yeah, Tassilo, that's the same family.
Yeah.
And Leopold von Bayern was from.
Leopold von Bayern still active. We see him at Goodwood every year in BMWs. Now, there, coming down towards us, is Verstappen.
Yep, Thomas Verstappen passed Bob Bau.
Indeed. So in other words, Verstappen is going after Koffler. It also means that the elite class might get themselves together, as under attack is Koller, as Silbermeier gets up the inside and goes through, takes 4th place away. That was a good move by Georg Silbermeier, up from the 3rd row of the grid, and he's now into 4th place.
Yeah, and I can just imagine also why Thomas Verstappen passed Bob Bau. As I said, it's really in these mixed conditions. The GT4 car is easier to drive, especially with the ABS braking. So you can really see that they struggle a bit with the elite class cars.
But the way that Georg Silbermeier is now going, he's catching Bob Bau, is he not? Silbermeier's last lap was 2 minutes 1, Bob Bau 2 minutes 5. So we could be on for a change of class lead and 3rd overall. Silbermeier closing on the man that started on pole position.
Yeah, looks like Silbermeier is on the move. And if we take a look back into the Rookies Challenge, there Mika Kallio has moved up to second place, and he's chasing Marcel Markiewicz. Also, he was 1 second faster the last lap than Marcel, who is a serious winner this year. He won a lot of races, but Mika is doing great in his first four-wheel race.
So lots of experience on two wheels, not four. Under Erdem is coming up the order there. Look, number 65, the white GT4 car. You can easily tell the GT4 with the closed bodywork. 81 going through is Schaber Walter. So from the VLN, the Nürburgring 24 Hours, FIA European GT3 Championship, a huge amount of experience. Doesn't race very often. He's not raced one of these before, so that's why he goes into the rookie class, wriggling his way up through the chicane. Number 95 is Jan Ries. But Ries, of course, needs really to be ahead of Marcel Markiewicz within the rookie battle to outscore him for the championship. But at the moment, he's behind. Advantage Markiewicz.
In the end, we are very happy that Jan is here. He was quite ill. He had like some kind of flu, but it took him 1 month to get fit again. So I think he's still struggling a little bit with his personal fitness in this race. So it's great that he's here and he's on third place.
Absolutely right. There is Onder Erdem going through on the inside of Jan Ries. So Erdem is carving his way up through the field.
He had a little bit of troubles at the beginning of the race, lost lots of places, but now he's getting his pace back.
And there, look, number 15, Thomas Vestarp, under attack from Georg Silbermeier. Silbermeier's pace, absolutely electric. He's the second fastest man on the circuit. Vestarp's GT4 car lapping in the 1:59 to 1 minute 57 from Silbermeier. So he's the new elite class leader, running third overall.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that Georg is really experienced driver on the car. He founded the Crossbow Battle in 2009, so we are in the 10th year of the Crossbow Battle, and he's racing since the very beginning. So he's really experienced, and he's using all this experience now in these difficult mixed conditions.
Out of turn 4 they come, and while Thomas Vestarp is busy defending, the road is getting quicker, and Reinhard Koffler is doing even better sector times. He's now, as the fastest lap, done a 1 minute 54. The best lap in qualifying, a 1 minute 49. We're a little bit away from that, therefore, yet the road is still to dry completely. Still has more time in it. But right now, Thomas Vestarp, the GT4 champion this year, 3 times a winner, keeping elite driver Georg Silbermeier 4 times a winner behind him. There are more of the elite class battling here as they come into turn 4. The rookies and the elite drivers all finding people of comparable ability. Good squabbles going on. 86, as an example, Daniel Drexel, another KTM regular.
Yeah, he was just passed by Uwe Schmidt, who is also getting a little bit quicker with his already sold car.
Yeah, Schmidt, who was 8th in the championship last year, 5th the year before that, 4th in 2016, 5th in 2014. He's another very, very experienced, very loyal KTM customer and driver.
Absolutely. He is also one of those who are with us from the beginning of the series, and it's great to see that he's still here. And now Georg attacks. Yeah, but at the end of the straight without the ABS, it's quite hard to pass a GT4 car.
It is indeed, but Vestarp is not getting away. That gap between them is 0.375 of a second. And Georg Silbermeier, even though he wants to win his class, he would dearly like to get ahead of this GT4 car outright. 25-minute race, 11 minutes to go. Downhill they head towards turn 3. The new fastest lap is a 1:52.9. The road's getting quicker and quicker all the time. Reinhard Koffler, who is gulp, 25 seconds ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, there you see the experience that
sure.
Reini has. He was in the Red Bull program, and he was karting world champion. He's doing Formula racing. He's done Formula racing for, I don't know, many, many years. So that's really his experience under these conditions is so much better than from anybody else. So
yeah. Yes, go back to 2001. He started in Formula BMW. He was the junior champion and still occasionally races in single-seaters. He's had a go in a Dallara GP2 car in the Boss Formula. Now these rookies, busy squabbling. 95, look, Jan Ries, under attack from Schaber Walter, round the outside. Great move by Schaber Walter. They almost lean on each other. Walter in 81 is ahead and stays ahead into the chicane. He's up the curve, is he? No, beautifully executed. Great pass.
Great racing, and number 98, Sven Förster, that we saw with this spectacular drift at the very beginning of the race. He's the third in this pack, and he's also waiting for his chance to pass Jan Ries.
And we're into the last 10 minutes of the race. Despite the conditions, everybody behaving themselves. We've not had anybody spinning, anybody doing anything strange. Just that query as to why Baumgartner did not start us here, dropping down to turn 12. Walter just ahead there, you can see, of the gaggle of cars behind with, in fact, 98 Sven Förster closing up, getting quicker all the time, and now really hustling on behind Jan Ries, so he could gain another position before the end.
I think Csaba Walter, he used a mistake of Jan Ries there, that he could pass him, because now he can't really get away from him, so it seems that they stay together here. While Marcel Markiewicz is using the slipstream of Bob Bau to maintain his lead over Mika Kallio.
But Bob Bau, 7th, the man on pole position, now down in 7th, so he's lost his class lead, he's lost lots of places, and either Bob Bau's car is not set up ideally for these greasy conditions, or there's another problem.
I think there's partly it's not properly set up because they just couldn't get any kilometer here on wet track, and on the other hand, I think he doesn't really like the wet or mixed conditions.
Okay. So. He's just keeping out of trouble, banking points, getting to the end. Number 11 there, Uwe Schmidt, trying to go around the outside look of Bartolomei Simonchuk, who's another of the rookies.
Yeah, there's quite a big fight going on. Number 97, which is Niklas Stumpf. He's fighting here against, who's that behind him? Number 99. Which is Bart Simonchuk.
So Simonchuk is on the attack, and Uwe Schmidt trying to find a gap, but at the same time, Schmidt is trying to keep Stumpf behind him. Here they come. Out of turn 5 then, this little short sprint up towards the chicane. Get on the wrong line, get on the curb. You'll find how wet it is here. Just under 8 minutes of the race to go. Reinhard Koffler, dominant race leader, but look at this, they could not be closer, could they?
Yeah, absolutely great to see, and that's how it looks like whole the year in all the races. It's really close racing. One Max Series racing, you know, the cars in the Rookies Challenge are prepared directly by KTM, so they are all exactly at the same performance level, and in the end, it's the driver that makes the difference.
So Markiewicz leads the rookie class from Kallio, and then Walter, and a mistake. Whoops, and a spin.
That was close, but thankfully they took avoiding action, which was the driver that spun here.
Uwe Schmidt gets away. Thankfully, his sold car not damaged, and we'll see in a moment as the order will shuffle across the line.
I'm afraid it was Niklas Stumpf.
Ah, okay. So
Niklas doing his very first year of racing, and he's quick and he's good, but as he's not really experienced, sometimes he has a mistake like this, and
down the order he falls.
Yeah.
So Walter is 10th, Jan Ries 11th, Sven Förster is 12th, 13th now Leon Wasserteurer, ahead of Peltzman, Wieder, Uwe Schmidt up to 16th, Simonchuk 17th, Drexel Jr. 18th, and Stumpf down to 19th place, yes.
And Markiewicz and Kallio both went past Bob Bau.
Yeah, indeed. He's really struggling, and it's odd, isn't it? Because he's losing more places as the road gets drier. You think he's becoming happier with the conditions and being able to fight more.
Yeah, but the question is, they're all on rain tires, and maybe he started with used rain tires and they are dropping more, because I know that on the rookies cars we have brand new rain tires on, so maybe that is what makes a difference.
Interestingly, Reinhard Koffler, as you see 97
here we
in the replay,
again,
having his spin.
That was really close.
Very close. Reinhard Koffler has done the fastest lap at 1 minute 52. His last lap was 2 minutes. So with 5 3/4 minutes on the clock, I don't think he's got a problem. I think Koffler is just backing off and bringing it to the finish. He's proved what he can do, but a dominant display by Reini Koffler.
I think he's coasting now, and
he really has made this look very easy indeed, but arguably so he should, given the experience that he has.
Yeah.
He's been a race winner in the European GT4 this series for KTM with Patrick Niederhauser, And in second place is Thomas Westarp. There, number 91, is Thomas Kokol, who is a lap down in his rookie entry.
Yeah, he's one of the first that was getting lapped.
Now there, still, Thomas Westarp, in fairness to him, has kept Georg Silbermaier behind him, hasn't he? We've had these two together for most of the race, but Westarp always just able to keep Silbermaier behind him.
Yeah, but as I know Georg, he's doing that all the time. He's waiting until the last 2 or 3 laps, and then he's increasing the pressure again.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that we will see a move from him during the last moments of the race.
So 4.5 minutes to go. Down the hill they come then. Reinhard Koffler leads the way. So a flying lap can be around the 2-minute mark, can be a bit quicker if you're really hustling on. In fact, Onder Erdam, who is up into 4th place again, he's able to do 1 minute 54. It's a really good pace at the moment.
Yep.
As there through is number 7 in 3rd place, Georg Silbermaier.
But I'm afraid that the distance from Önder to Georg Silbermaier and Thomas Westarp is a little bit too big, so he won't catch them. Also with this outstanding pace, he will not be able to catch them.
No, you're right.
To fight for the last podium spot.
But Reinhard Koffler has made this look very easy and a very well executed drive. It was a brave pass to put him into the race lead, and here he comes then now down to turn 2. 3 3/4 minutes to go. Can he squeeze 1 or 2 laps out of it at the end? Let's see.
And interestingly, Reine is sharing the car this weekend with Laura Kreihammer,
Yeah.
and they just came here from testing on the Sachsenring.
Okay.
And they are doing the GT4 Germany together. So they will be racing in Hockenheim and in Sachsenring. Those are the 2 races that are still to go in the ADAC GT4 Germany, and they are still fighting for the title there.
So Reinhard Koffler has been busy this season. Races in this, races in the German GT4, the European GT4.
24-hour race at the
That's
Nürburgring.
right, yes.
So.
Yeah. Man in demand, of course, given his experience. And Koffler coming up to more traffic there, because ahead of him now is Clemens Drexel, another occasional racer within the crossbow battle.
Yep.
And it looks as though 2 more laps can be wrung out of this, don't they?
Yep, that should be possible. Also, Reine is still cruising with 2 minutes and 3 seconds for 1 lap on the last one.
Still cruising, but he's done the absolute best in the first sector of anybody in the race on this lap. So just keeping himself awake and alert, I think.
Yeah.
Here he is. So 2 minutes is a flying lap time. He's up towards the timing line. It will be 2 more laps for Reinhard Koffler, race leader, who goes through.
So, and that was Nasser Al-Ali that he lapped there. Our guest racer from Kuwait.
It's good to see the international spread of this, with Q80 drivers as well. Have we had any British drivers taking part in the past?
I'm just thinking. Yes, we had actually. Mark Kemp, who is doing a lot of club sport racing in the UK, and he raced 2 seasons in the Rookies Challenge, and he also won races, so he was doing good. Maybe he's coming back next year.
Right. We've seen KTM's, the crossbow, for example, on occasions in GT4 in British GT, but it's an interesting entry, this. As there, look, Uwe Schmidt comes up to attack now. Uwe Schmidt on the back of Schaber Walter.
Yeah, he gained, now as it gets drier and drier, he gets lots of places, and now he's using the increased power of his car to pass the Hungarian driver.
So that's the elite category car going ahead of a rookie car. So Schaber Walter drops back 1 place. Uwe Schmidt up into the top 10, having started 19th on the grid. Good effort, that.
Yeah. And in the rookies category, it looks like Marcel. Oh, there was a big mistake by Reinhard Koffler.
Is he playing it? That's not meant to happen.
Really nearly lost the car there in the super fast 4th corner, but saved it. Yeah, what I was saying that Marcin Markiewicz looks like getting another win in the Rookies Challenge, and I think if he seals the win, this time he will be already champion in the Rookies category 2019.
So that's 7th overall. Marcel Markiewicz going really well. We're on the last lap of the race now. Reinhard Koffler as there is the fight still for second and third places. Thomas Vestap ahead of Georg Silbermeier, coming up now to turn 14, leader through, and on his last lap another sedate 2 minutes 4 for Reini Koffler, partly because of going off the road.
Yes.
And then driving within himself just to make sure he got to the end safely. So through they go.
And now there is Georg attacking. So as I promised, he's always doing it in the last lap.
So can he find a way past Thomas Vestap out of turn 1?
That was a little mistake from him. He was a little bit sideways.
Dropped back a couple of lengths has Silbermeier. Still nearly 12 seconds clear of Under Erdem behind, so that's not going to change unless he makes a mistake. He's going to be secure in third place.
Yeah,
so
but Thomas is getting into traffic now. Yeah, but they were looking in the mirror, so they saw them coming.
And Vestap with enough in hand, although Silbermeier is quick through turn 4, brings down the gap a little bit further. Now, set the car up, turn right out of
I guess he
turn
will
5.
give it a try into the chicane.
But with the back marker in the way, there's no real width, is there?
No chance.
Still can't do it. So Vestap up the curb, hanging on a second place. Silbermeier behind him. Uwe Schmidt's up to 7th overall now, incidentally, from 19th on the grid. Mega effort. You can see how the road is drying as the cars plunge downhill once again here. So there's the leader, Reinhard Koffler, on target for a first victory. Laura Kreihammer has had a win, but Reini Koffler has not this year within this championship, so this will be, in his one race, a very sweet result. Comes, sees, conquers. Through turn 13 he comes, and the True Racing entry, he's on target for a dominant victory. He's backed it off. I think we had him at over 25 seconds clear at one point, and he has slowed right down here, almost as though he's waiting for others to catch up to him. He's certainly making sure he doesn't have to do one more lap. There is second and third, so the gap coming down and down and down. He doesn't want to be a completely runaway winner. Reinhard Koffler wins race 1 here at the Hungaroring in the KTM Crossbow Battle, and he wins it in style. The winning margin is going to be over Vestap, only 5 seconds in the end. Georg Silbermeier taking third place, and then 4th in the background. Look, the white GT4 of Under Erdem coming through. But good battle for second between Vestap and Silbermeier. Only 0.3 of a second between them at the end.
Yeah, it was really tough in the end, or tight in the end. And now we're waiting for Tassilo von Bayern. Very good result from him if he can bring it to the finish. Overall 5th, and that would be 4th place in GT4 category. That would be really a great result for the young Bavarian.
And behind him is going to be Josef Koller, who would be second in the elite class, wouldn't he, behind Georg Silbermeier?
Yes, another good result for Josef Koller, and Uwe Schmidt made it to the podium in the elite category, and with a strong finish in this race.
Yeah, Schmidt 7th. He should be. He's yet to take the flag, but 7th from 19th on the grid. Really, really good effort, that. And having sold the car, keeping it out of trouble.
Yeah. Now they are
in fact, he's 5th. Uwe Schmidt 5th as he comes across the line. So he gets second ahead of Koller in the class. So up to 5th overall
Schmidt
goes Uwe Schmidt.
Tassilo von Bayern and Josef Koller on his very last lap.
Wow.
While Marcin Markiewicz won the rookies class in front of Mika Kallio, and congratulations to Marcel, because that's the overall win in this season in the Rookies Challenge, and that's a really great effort from him. He's coming from sim racing, really made it perfect.
You've had people coming through sim racing, esports, competition winners into the rookie class, and then taking that skill they've learned to the real thing.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's really impressive how they do this, because for me, when I'm on a sim, it has nothing to do with real racing or real driving, but they can really transfer this, all what they learned on the simulator to the real racing world, and that's really impressive for me.
Well, there is Reinhard Koffler. His CV is longer than anybody's in that race, and putting it to very good effect. Let's just confirm the results then. 13 laps done from that safety car start. Reinhard Koffler, the race winner. In the end, 5 seconds clear of Thomas Vestap, and then Georg Silbermeier, the elite class winner. Under Erdem, 4th, ahead of Uwe Schmidt. Brilliant race, 19th to 5th, ahead of Tassilo von Bayern and Josef Koller. The rookie winner, Marko Markovic, wins the class in the race and the championship. first ever race, second in class, 9th overall, Mika Kallio ahead of Csaba Walter, then Jan Ries 11th from Sven Förster, Janos Vida, Leon Wasserteurer 14th, and Matthias Peltzmann 15th. He started on pole and ended only 16th. Bob the Builder, Bob Bau, has much to repair for tomorrow. Nicholas Stump 17th ahead of Bart Simenchuk. Nasser Al-Ali, the Q80, up from the back of the grid to 19th ahead of Daniel and Clemens Drexel. And in his first race, Thomas Kokol 22nd, Holger Baumgartner, that one non-starter.
I didn't know, or I don't know what happened to Holger, but I hope I can tell you tomorrow.
And here are the highlights of the race. It began, remember, with that safety car start. They blasted away on the green flag. Bob Bau, the pole man, led the pack down towards the first corner. But it wasn't long before Reinhard Koffler was able to try and make the move as they all wriggled their way through the chicane. We had this big moment for Sven Förster earlier on, but he saved it well and was able to, in the end, take 12th place as the rookies dived downhill. Around the outside, Csaba Walter trying to gain ground, almost a rub there with Jan Ries. Walter gaining, and then late in the race losing. As losing it completely there, Nicholas Stump went around. Reinhard Koffler had a moment when he slithered way off the track at turn 4, bit of opposite lock, ran out of traction, but Koffler able to survive and to come through as a dominant race winner, lifting off towards the end to make a 25-second lead become a rather more manageable 5-second one at the end of the race. So an excellent job done by Reinhard Koffler, and he will make his way to the podium. So Reinhard Koffler, the race winner. The Park Fairmay, incidentally, for the KTM Crossbow Battle is in the lower paddock, so that's why the cars don't stop in the pit lane, they go straight there. And then the drivers, I don't think, will venture to the circuit podium because it's a rather long trek all the way back from there. So Reinhard Koffler, along with Georg Silbermeier and Marcel Markovics, are the class winners. Great action from the KTM Crossbow Battle. There's more of the same tomorrow. Join us for that. For now, from Manfred Wolf and David Addison, goodbye.